Hello and welcome to DSLBD's weekly Lunch and Learn series. My name is Kate Marand. I am part of the Innovation and Equitable Development Division at the Department of Small Development. We do a Lunch and Learn series every Wednesday at noon, and we are incredibly excited today to have a multi-agency presentation on both a new important law, but also a lot of great information about how to support businesses through this space. And so, as you might have heard, there is a new law about leaf blowers in the District of Columbia and transitioning to electric. And so we are very excited to actually have with us today, we have some information from DCRA. We also have the DCSEU, the Department of Energy and the Environment, and we'll share some information as well. But why don't we go ahead and dive right in. I want to pause for a moment. I think we have someone on from DCRA to share, and if they are on, otherwise I'll go through the slides. But if our DCRA colleague wants to unmute, I'll go ahead and advance the slides for you. So if they are not on, I'm going to go ahead. They shared these slides. I will walk through them.
Hey, Kate, I think they're having trouble unmuting.
Okay.
Derek looks like he's trying to get unmuted.
Derek, it looks like you are unmuted. You may need to check your audio.
Derek, we still can't hear you.
Thank you, everyone, for waiting with us as we work to make sure that we are able to hear from our DCRA colleague. It looks like they might have left and are going to come right back again. Derek, are you able to you might want to sign in from a different device. So what we can do while we wait to hear from our DCRA colleague, I'm going to advance through these slides. We'll actually move over to DCSEU. They're going to give a much better description of everything that's happening with the law. But as we advance through these slides briefly, just to have an understanding that as of January 21st or January 1st, 2022, there was a leaf blower Regulation Amendment Act that took effect. And so as you can see here, it did prohibit the use of gasoline-powered leaf blowers in the District of Columbia. And this will impact landscapers who do business in the district, as well as residents who own gasoline-powered leaf blowers. And so we're going to come back and hear a little bit about that enforcement information once we're able to hear from our DCRA colleagues. But we know that an important part of change like this is being able to finance that transition. And so we do have some information from the DC Sustainable Energy Utility about how you will be able to transition and how you can get support on that if you are specifically business, but also I think that there's some additional support for residents as well. So I'm going to turn things over to Ben Burdick, and he'll say a little bit, and then we'll have some additional DCSEU staff talking as well.
Thank you so much, Kate, and thanks for having us today. As Kate said, my name is Ben Burdick. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications here at the DC Sustainable Energy Utility. And I'm joined by my colleague, Ashley Counselor, who is one of our program managers here at the DCSEU and heads up our residential leaf blower rebates. I'm going to quickly just give you a quick background. Kate, if you can go to the next slide, please. Quick background on who the DC Sustainable Energy Utility is, the DCSEU. We've been around since 2011. We were created by the 2008 Clean and Affordable Energy Act, and we are under contract to DOE to basically run most of the energy efficiency and renewable energy programs here in the district. So we've been working with businesses and residents for over 10 years now, providing rebates, technical assistance, and just general information on energy efficiency and renewable energy. So Kate, if you can go to the next slide, just quickly to kind of see some of the DCSEU's goals. We just began a new contract cycle starting October 1st of 2021 for the next 5 years. And the biggest change in the way that we do what we do is now not only do we have an energy savings goal, but we actually have a benchmark on reducing the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. So as we transition to this next contract period, our leadership here saw an opportunity with the Leaf Blower Regulation Amendment Act to help consumers, help residents and businesses here make the transition from gas-powered leaf blowers to electric leaf blowers, and hopefully, as Ashley will talk a little bit about, on some other equipment as well, hopefully helping consumers make the transition to electric equipment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And as you see, we have some other benchmarks here in terms of creating green jobs for district residents, spending 35% of our dollars with CBEs, investing our money, investing the dollars that DOEE has awarded us in low-income communities, and then increasing renewables and helping buildings really get deep energy savings. So that's just a quick overview. I want to turn it over to Ashley, who's going to talk specifically about our leaf blower rebates and how you can take advantage of those. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Ben. So we want to talk about our new leaf blower program. So right now, starting last November, we launched the leaf blower rebate program. We're offering $75 off of electric leaf blowers for commercial lawn care businesses, and we are offering $50 off for DC residences. For businesses that are in the district, we also offer them for businesses outside of the district, provided they can give us their DC business license, and they can purchase up to 5 electric leaf blowers per business per fiscal year. The way this will work is the business or the resident will purchase the electric leaf blower first, and then they will fill out an application on our online website, and then we will send them a check for the rebate. So the next slide, I'm going to kind of go over how you can apply for this for both as a resident and as like a commercial business owner. I'm going to go to the next slide. So if you're a DC resident, you can get $50 off. Like I said, you can only get $50 off. The limit is 1 leaf blower or 1 electric leaf blower per customer per fiscal year. You can apply on our what we call the online rebate center. It's rebates.dcseu.com. You can go on there and apply for a lot of other rebates, but you can also do that for electric leaf blowers. I have a little screenshot on the right that shows you what that homepage is going to look like when you get there. You're going to click, continue as, you can make an account or continue as a guest, and then you'll select under the programs where it's going to give you a lot of options. You're just going to select one of them under residential. You'll probably select residential existing building since it already, your building already exists. And then once you've clicked on that, you'll just kind of follow the prompts. It'll ask for your, your information, your address. It'll ask what you're applying the rebate for. And then all you'll really need to provide us is that information plus the receipt for the purchase of the electric leaf blower. So very straightforward, and then we'll review it and be able to get the check out to you. If I want to go to the next slide, I'll cover the commercial ones. So if you are a DC or outside of DC lawn care business, or just, not a DC resident, you own your business or work for a business, you can also get this rebate of $75 per electric leaf blower. We have a limit of up to 5 per business per fiscal year, because we know that, as a lawn care business, you're obviously doing a lot of work. You probably have teams of people, so you're going to need more than one. So this one is not on the online rebate center. This application, you're going to go to our website where it has the DC lawn care equipment page, and you're going to click under the residential one, apply for rebate, and it's going to take you to the web form, which is the second screenshot down on the left. This will ask you for similar information as the DC resident one, what business are you, contact information, address, and then it's going to ask you for, again, the receipt or invoice for purchase of these rebates. And then you're going to submit the form, which will again go to us, and then we'll review it and review it and see if we can approve it. For this one, in addition to the invoice and receipt, you also have to provide your DC business license or DC business license number. This is because we know that some lawn care businesses are located outside of DC, but we need to make sure that they're still doing work in the district for this to really count. Because we know that a lot of them don't really, don't have a home base in DC. So as long as you provide that copy of the license or the license number so we can look it up, there should be no issues with that. Go to the next slide. And that's, it for that part of the presentation. Do you guys have any questions about that so far? How to apply or what the offering is?
And please feel free to put questions in the chat, or if you want to unmute at this time, if you have any questions, please feel free. Okay, so seeing no questions, I'm going to just double check in with our colleagues from DCRA. Are you able to unmute, and is your audio working now?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, wonderful.
Awesome.
Back to the slides.
Had to grab the headphones.
Okay, Derek, please take it away.
Yeah, hi. So you could go to the next slide. So as you know, the Leaf Blower Act went into effect on January 1st, 2022. And since then, we've been working diligently to answer all of those complaints. So what happens is, you're able to make a complaint if you observe the gas powered leaf blower in use in the district, with the appropriate evidence being provided to support the claim, and we will look into it. Next slide. I wish I had our link up here for our complaint form, but you could go to dcra.dc.gov and file a complaint. And so in that complaint form, you will make an attestation. So I wish we had that up here for you to see, but it's pretty simple to find it. What we're looking for in that complaint form is the name of the company or individual alleged to have used gas-powered leaf blowers. If it's a private citizen and it's your neighbor, and I know some people just don't want to say, but you'll need to give us their name, their address, and a description. The location of the alleged violation, that's very important. The date and time of the alleged violation, and any additional identifying information regarding the use of the gas-powered leaf blower. That's to include any photographs, videos, that all of that sort of thing will help us determine who's using it and then reaching out to them. Next slide, please. Our outcomes of our investigation, we try to do these pretty quickly. I have my staff getting to them immediately upon receipt. I know we get a 30-day SLA to do these, but I try to get my staff to do these right away. So the sooner the better. And the reason for that is because it's fresh, and we're able to go and reach out to the people who committed the offense. But keep in mind, the thing here is we want compliance. So our goal is compliance. So we will reach out. We will do everything we possibly can to get them to understand the new regulation and to know how to come into compliance. We do hand out your rebate document, so that's a part of our enforcement. We hand that rebate out to assist them with getting some assistance when it comes to this. But this particular program or this particular type of complaint is heavily based upon the complainant. So since we're not there, we didn't witness it, we didn't see it, it is imperative that the complainant give us as much detail as possible. Try not to just give us a tag number. We don't have the capability to search someone out by their tag. So it really doesn't help much to get a tag number. But if you get markings on the vehicle, photographs of that, it goes a long way. Next slide. Okay, yeah, there you have it. If you want to learn a little bit more, visit dcra.dc.gov, leaf blower, and you'll be able to get some information exactly on how we're going about doing this. And there are quite a few things that, for instance, federal properties, we cannot enforce it on federal properties. I have been learning that the federal government own quite a bit of things. We have several parks. People are like, hey, they're in this little park, or they're around this statue, and all of that is federal, and nothing we can do about that. So just kind of keep that in mind. It goes a long way. So thank you. That's all I have. If you didn't, unless you have some questions.
There are 2 questions in the chat, Derek, that I will reach out, and thank you for that information. And if you have other questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll read those off for Derek. The first one is, does the ban apply to 4-stroke gas-powered leaf blowers or only to 2-stroke? And I don't even know if I know what that is, so I'm excited to learn more.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Derek, were you able to hear us? Derek, are you able to hear us? Derek, there are 2 questions in the chat. Are you able to hear us? So if we aren't able to, if Derek isn't able to hear us for these last 2 questions, we will also look to follow up with DCRA and provide that.
He muted himself. He needs to unmute himself.
Derek, we're going to go ahead and unmute you. We sent a request. If you can unmute yourself, there are 2 questions for you.
I cannot hear anyone. I
Okay.
have no audio.
So it looks like I'll read off one.
Let me see if I can answer these in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, can you all hear me so that I could answer your question the best I can? Okay. I'm read this. I'll read these and see if I can answer. If yes, your email. Does this apply to 4-stroke gas-powered leaf blowers or just 2-stroke? That has been a question that we have been somewhat wrestling with. If you look at the definition of what is a leaf blower and what is a gas-powered leaf blower, it's kind of really broad. We have just been going with if it's portable and if you can carry it, whether it's a 4-stroke or a 2-stroke, if you can man pack it or it's portable, then that would fall under that category of a gas powered leaf blower. That we're going to go with that. I know some of these leaf blowers operate on like PTOs with turbine engines, and those will be done by case until we make a concrete decision as to if it's considered a gas powered leaf blower. When you say you can't look up by tag, do you mean license plate? Yes, that's license plate. We don't have that capability to do that. Okay, I already answered them. 2-stroke uses a gasoline oil mixture. 4-stroke uses just gasoline, which burns cleaner. That I totally agree with you. However, that legislation doesn't differentiate that. It just says gasoline, gasoline powered. And that's something that those sorts of things should be worked out, because some people are asking about you purchasing turbine type blowers that are really huge. They have to pull them behind a little tractor or some other powered device. And the thing is that these pieces of equipment cost thousands of dollars. And I would not want to tell somebody it's okay to get that and use that after they've shoveled out $3,000, and then to come back and say, no, that you can't use that. So that is something that we have to nail down. And I guess what we're looking for is to be sure that we not only follow what the letter of the law is, but what the spirit of it is, and see that we can meet that law and the spirit of what it was created to do. You indicated that a complaint must include more than the license plate number, but what about the smaller contractors who use an unmarked vehicle and decline to identify themselves? Well, in most of those cases, well, in all of those cases, which we've done, we've come across that they are not over there because they just felt like riding down the street and clearing out some area. They were hired. And so what we do is we go to the people that hired them. And if it's on their property, then ultimately that homeowner or that business owner is on the hook for that contractor. So we find them. They're not just out there working. They're being paid to work. So that we go to that place. That's why the address is critically important.
Derek, thank you so much. So I don't know if you can hear us,
Let's see here.
but we'll go ahead and move to the next
The
section.
law prohibits the use or sale of gas-powered leaf blowers in the District of Columbia after January 1st, 2022. No distinction is made in the law between two-stroke blowers and four-stroke blowers. Yep, that's correct. Aren't all gas-powered leaf blowers, whether two-stroke or four-stroke, prohibited? At this point, yes, it is. Aren't there other agencies that could help identify? Yes, MPD could do that. MPD could do that, but that's not typically one of the things that they would typically share enlists for something. And in this case, I have some contacts over there that I could get that tag number from. Run that tag number. But as I said, it hasn't become necessary because they are working for someone. Now, I received one complaint that the person said, this is happening 2 doors west of me. I mean, we did our best with that. But I mean, I know they didn't want to implicate their neighbor. And then when we asked, like, what's 2 doors west of you? They didn't want to be of much help. So I would like to help with that. But that's why. Okay, thank you. I think that was the last question. Thank you.
Wonderful, Derek. Thank you so much to DCRA and DCSEU. I'm going to move over now to the Department of Energy and the Environment. I'm going to talk a little bit about safe disposal of the gas-powered blowers that people might be transitioning over to electric. And so I am going to introduce Ida.
Thanks, Kate. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, great. So actually, my colleague Brittany is going to start by discussing some of the reasons why we're moving away from gas-powered leaf blowers with some information about the emissions that come from them. Brittany, are you still on?
Yes. Hi. Good
Okay.
afternoon, everybody. Brittany Whited and DOEE's Air Quality Division. Just wanted to talk a little bit about district lawn and garden emissions and to emphasize that this transition to electric leaf blowers will also benefit the district's air quality and therefore also benefit the health of district residents and especially of the workers who operate these gasoline-powered leaf blowers. So lawn and garden emissions in the district are the second highest source of CO2, highest source of non-road CO2 in the district. And they are by far the highest source of benzene. And for those who don't know, benzene is a known human carcinogen, and those who are in closest proximity to these engines are the most exposed. Next slide, please. So if we dig a little bit deeper into those lawn and garden emissions and look specifically at leaf blowers, we can see that they are a significant source of PM 2.5 emissions. So those are fine particulates that can get lodged in our lungs, deep in our lungs, and PM 2.5 exposure is very bad for human health. It can aggravate asthma, it decreases your overall lung function, and in worst cases, it can lead to premature death due to exposure, especially in those who have pre-existing conditions. Next slide, please. And then gasoline also contributes to NOx emissions in the district. And when NOx enters our atmosphere, it mixes with other chemicals and leads to ozone. So for those of you who don't know, the district is currently in marginal non-attainment of the national ozone standard. Ozone is also referred to as smog. And on poor ozone days, this can aggravate asthma. It's especially harmful for kids with asthma. And so by switching to eco-friendly and electric lawn and garden equipment, we are making a positive impact on the air quality in the district and the health of residents and visitors. All right, take it away, Ida. Next slide.
Thank you. So yes, I'm Ida from the Department of Energy and Environment. I work on sustainable materials management, working on the district's waste and diversion goals. Just to mention, when residents and businesses are moving away from gas-powered leaf blowers, we want to make sure that first they empty or drain the fluid, so the gas in the oil tank, and to manage those liquids properly. Gas and oil are classified as hazardous waste and must be managed accordingly. Residents can bring that gas and oil to the district's transfer station at Benning Road, and businesses must manage it according to their applicable laws and regulations or hazardous waste generator category. We use the waste management hierarchy, and certainly the preferred management method for the gas-powered leaf blowers would be to bring them to a scrap metal yard for recycling of the metal components. But if that's not possible, as a last resort, after the liquids are drained from the leaf blowers, they could be placed in the trash. And we're going to be continuing to look for recycling options and can keep you updated as they become available. So please just make sure that we have your email address to keep you up to date with any new options that we're able to come up with.
Ida, thank you so much. Just to check in, I haven't seen any questions in the chat, but does anyone have any questions for our colleagues from the Department of Energy and the Environment? If not, we'll move to our last presenter and wrap things up. Okay, so we're going to move to that last slide. So we have just a couple of slides that Caroline Howe from our team is going to talk about some of the additional resources that we have around green business. As she'll say, we actually have a full presentation on what these slides are towards, so we'll tell you more about that. But I'm going to turn it over to Caroline Howe.
Great. So in the last couple of minutes, I did want to talk about some of the questions that have been raised about financing. So as Kate mentioned, we have a full session on how to finance your green business, including Kiva through Kiva crowdfunding loans, that is recorded and is available on our DSLBD YouTube channel. So encourage you to take a look at that or get in touch with us at Inno.ED at dc.gov if you have questions about accessing financing. But if I could go to the next slide, I'd love to talk through, again, what DSLBD can offer. We have resources. We have lots of trainings online on our YouTube and lots of other trainings specifically about accessing Kiva funding. And you can meet with our team at bit.ly/Inno booking. I'll drop those links into the chat as well. And thank you so much for colleagues dropping that in as well. Do we have, oh, this is the last slide, fabulous. One thing I want you to think about in terms of accessing things like Kiva are, because zero interest, zero fee loans are something that can help you get over that hurdle before you receive your DCSEU rebate. So we do want you to know that there are other funds available in the city that are loans in order to help you as you adjust your leaf blower. And we know some associated other landscaping materials would need to change as well. Once you shift over to battery powered leaf blowers, you may be interested in shifting all battery powered for all of your equipment. So thanks for that. Thank you for joining us today. I know there are a couple of other questions in the chat. And Ken, I think we will follow up with you. I'm not sure that Derek can hear these. But that's a great question. If you have any other questions, please do drop it in.
Wonderful. Thank you, Caroline. And I know that we are at time. For everyone who joined us today, thank you for bearing with just a couple of technical difficulties. We are very excited to be able to provide this multi-agency perspective on what is a new change here in the district and the support that has been provided for both residents and for small businesses. Once again, if you do need to reach out with any questions, there are a number of different agencies. We're here. You can reach out to them directly, or if you need help getting routed with your question, you can always write to us at Inno.ED at dc.gov. That is INNO.ED at dc.gov, and we'll help get you connected. I'm going to say thank you to everyone. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stop the recording. Thank you, everyone, for being here today.